One of my family relatives told me when I was a child, she was like, Sagi, we're Shreibers. We will always work hard, but we will never be rich. Blockages are different than limiting beliefs. Those are deeper. Past traumas, things that drive us, beliefs and systems that people implanted in us when we were young and we don't even remember.
Those old beliefs, they are actually lies because we're infinite potential. Why don't we tell ourselves a new lie? I am amazing. I'm great with money. Your mind is like a puppy. Its job is to do what you tell it.
When we work on ourselves, we become the rock of everybody around us. And the people that are weak, the grown-ups that are weak, that have not worked on themselves, become a bad anchor that weighs everybody down and creates trauma for years and years. And if you ever want to be someone who can operate in a very effective way, acting with leverage in a dynamic, chaotic world, how do you adapt dynamically to different situations, in chaos, in uncertainty? How do you operate?
Hi, and welcome to the show. This is Orion. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to talk about how to become a spiritual entrepreneur, or how to bring spirituality into your life and how to optimize your life and your business. And I have with me the extraordinary Sagi Shreiber. He's the founder of Contrast Design. He's a podcast host, a coach, a public speaker. And after scaling a 7-figure design agency, Sagi realized more grind did not mean more growth and made extraordinary changes in his life and in his business. Sagi helps entrepreneurs focus on their well-being so they can create the right kind of impact in the world, but not only in the world, in their own life, in their personal life, and with their family. In our conversations, we explored how hidden beliefs, old beliefs, and blockages can be released and transformed. Sagi shared about a unique way to push out of your comfort zone, and that way is for anyone, any age, and it is really, really unique and really, really, I think, amazing to try on. I might try it on. We also explored how just working hard isn't the answer to a successful business and a great life, and what you can do instead. How to stay calm in challenging situations. This was a fascinating conversation, and in this episode, you will change the way you think about work, success, and fulfillment. And if you love this episode, please share it with someone you love and review it. That will help tremendously if you can review on Spotify or on Apple, so we can share this type of amazing information with others. This is a lot of work and effort to bring you those amazing episodes. And if you want to give back, please review the show and let other people who needs to hear this right now know about it. You can copy the link. You can go to the website, check out the show notes, all of the above, and just share this with others. And now, without further ado, on to the show. Hi, Sagi, and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I am super excited to be talking to you. I love everything that you're about, and I know this conversation is going to be phenomenal. So thank you for being here.
All right, thanks so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so before we begin, maybe you can share one beautiful childhood memory that you cherish.
Oh, wow. Wow. You got me like, it's amazing. I love, I think just going back to, anything childlike. It's funny. I used to drive to my great grandparents' house when they were still alive. And it was a boy, and I was 8 years old. And I remember driving in the car. We used to drive pretty much a lot, and they were like in another city, kind of like just 40 minutes drive, but still here in Israel, it's pretty.
Which city?
We lived in Herzliya, and they lived in Holon. So it's like every time we drove there, I was really enjoying the ride. I don't know why, but I was like imagining a small ninja running on the fences and on the brick walls and on the road. And like I was just like imagining that. And going back to like, personal development and all of that, I also imagined a vision where I'm a prince, and when I grow up, I'll be, have a lot of people kind of, taking, like, I'll give a lot of people inspiration and help them with their lives. And it's pretty funny. I had that vision, and I think what we need to do is always connect back to like our childhood memories and vision, like how we imagine ourselves. So yeah, so that's a pretty funny thing. It's the first thing that popped to my mind.
Ah, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And you're pretty much doing it today. And I had a mentor who told me, if you want to find your purpose, go back to the things that you loved doing as a child, the things that were not hard, that inspired you. And then when you build your business, you're gonna make sure that that business has at least a few elements of that, and that's your purpose. And that's how you build a successful business. It needs to have, like, for you, like, you are a prince and you are giving people in inspiration. It's so beautiful because even as a little child, you knew your destiny, and of course the vision was of a little, like, in the framework of what a child would think of, but it's so beautiful that this is what you're doing today.
Yeah, I think I have a few more years to connect to that vision and influence others, and that's great though. But yeah, but I did build ninjas. No, I'm just kidding.
I was a ninja for a couple of years when I did some Aikido and MMA. Oh yeah, I was a little ninja a long time ago. Um, but um, but I grew up and now I'm not as strong as I used to be. Anyways, if you had to write a letter to that dreamy 80-year-old there on that ride from Herzliya to Hulon, and what would you tell that 80-year-old about success and business and life? What kind of advice will you give him?
Wow. Number one, everything's possible. Keep dreaming. Never stop being optimistic, and so I would say that's the thing. Like I would tell him, like, I think that's the main thing. Keep optimistic, and yeah. Although as a kid, I would probably, wow, so many, like, we have so many caretakers that are kind of like killing our dreams so fast. So I mean, even if I would have told myself that back then, probably would have killed my dreams. Someone else, but yeah.
Who killed your dream, or accidentally said something that might have um uh, you know give you a framework that does not work for you?
It's funny. We just earlier on today, I had a conversation with a very good friend. He came to visit me, and we went on a walk, and we were talking about um, thoughts and beliefs that were implanted in us when we were kids, and that we grow up with, and what we believe. And we talked about one of the things that a lot of us do believe is like hard work.
Mm,
Um, that there's this, my friend said, there's this kind of notion of like no pain, no gain.
yeah.
He said, I want to switch it up. I say no pain, gain. And it's just the other way around, because the energy you put out is the energy you get back. That's the frequency you're in. So if you believe in pain, you put out energy of pain and suffering, you get back energy of pain and suffering. And some people manage to break free from that, and we can do too. And once you put out energy of, like, of faith, of optimism, of like good energy, wholeness, like I'm whole and complete, the way I don't need anything, like gratitude, then you get way more from the universe, I would say, from the creator than you would. You're way more open. Your frequency is open for acceptance. And I didn't know that, and I was shut down by, some, even I remember one of my family relatives, like very close relatives, I wouldn't say who it is in the family, but she came to me and she told me one day when I was a child, she was like, Sagi, we're Schreibers. We will always work hard, but we will never be rich. So yeah, talking about like, right, things that people plant, like, in your mind, in your subconscious. So, and the thing about it, I didn't remember that conversation until it came back to me about 2 years ago in a therapy session.
Wow, that's amazing. So how do you think it influenced you now that you know? I mean, a lot of time when, because I do hypnotherapy, so a lot of time when we go into the subconscious mind and we uh, figure out what was holding us back, just knowing what it is the breakthrough. You don't even need to do, yes, of course, you have to create new belief systems, but sometimes just knowing what the thing is, that's the breakthrough.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why therapy is so important, right? A lot of people, I don't know, everybody's listening to the show. Probably, my guess is like 50% out of them is not going to therapy. Like most people just don't do therapy. They maybe go to shrinks, by the way, which is completely different than consciousness therapy of some sort or emotional therapy. And I'm big on consciousness and emotional therapy. And I think most people don't do it. So again, I really recommend it because in those kind of sessions, you get the insights that you just cannot access with any other way. And that's why I'm big on that kind of treatment. I've been going to therapists, and for the past couple of years, it helped me more than any other mentor or business coach. Although I also do business coaching, I have a business coach and I have like mastermind groups and all that stuff, but nothing compares to just single sessions with a good consciousness therapist.
All right, that's amazing. Yeah, I do believe we all need to connect with somebody who helps us look inside and get the insights. And for you, what kind of other beliefs did you discover for yourself, and how did you change them?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, um, one of the biggest beliefs I had was like money comes only if you work hard, and you got to work hard. And you got faith challenges, and um, we just we just need to reprogram our minds sometimes and look at our belief system that's holding us back. It's really hard to do it alone, I think, but so um, I would definitely want to. I wouldn't want to recommend anybody do it alone. I just, let's talk about it for a second. All right. So let's look at a glacier. Everybody can imagine a glacier, right? And you see the glacier on the top, right? There's like the small kind of like mountain on the top, and then it goes into the water, and it's like it goes into the water, kind of like widely spreads into the water, and then goes thinner into the water, like deep, deep, deep down below, right? The bigger part is actually underwater, like the huge part. Just a small part is above water. So if we're looking at our consciousness and our not as subconscious but our consciousness is like we have our the things that we know that are just regular everyday thoughts. We have our let's say in the things that are limiting us, we have our limiting beliefs. Those are just underwater, they're not too deep. We can work on them, making sure that we can, because it's easier to access limiting beliefs. If I ask you like, Orion, what are your limiting beliefs, you would be able to answer me pretty much straight away, right? You throw a fishing stick in the water, pull one out, done. But now if I say, Orion, what are your blockages? Now, blockages are different than limiting beliefs because those are deeper, past traumas, things that drive us, things that like beliefs and systems like that people implanted in us when we were young and we don't even remember. Those are on the subconscious level, deep, deep, deep down in the water, where you have to like dive in, like, very with very specific gear and with very specific people that accompany you, right? And that's, and it's sometimes even dangerous to go down there. And that's kind of like thing that's why therapy is needed. With good therapists, you need to go down there. You need to find those past traumas and blockages, and you need to bring them up to the surface and treat them. Once you bring them up to the surface, it's like 90% done or 80% done. Now you got the 20% of deleting them. But limiting beliefs, there's a very good way of deleting limiting beliefs, and that's a very simple way. You just put them on trial, right? It's like you say, what am I not good at? Like, do I think I'm not good at? Oh, I'm not good with money. A lot of people say, I'm not good with money. Okay, you're not good with money? Great. If your child came up to you and said, Mom, I'm not good with money. How do you answer?
Of course you are. You're great with money, and you can learn, and you can excel, and you can have everything you want. Yes.
Right? And how would you think in your mind about your child and money?
I would totally believe that my child is capable.
Right? So if someone came to your, do you have, by the way, sons or daughters? I forgot.
I have one son, and he's 6, and he's amazing.
Amazing. So your amazing 6-year-old son, if someone came to him and said, "You're not good with money, son, you'll never be," how would you look at that person?
I won't look at that person. I will drag him by the neck and go away.
Just
Yeah.
kill that person. Come on. So basically, it's the same way when we're looking at limiting beliefs. We look at them, we say, if someone told that to us, like, and we were our parents, right? And if we wouldn't let someone talk to our son that way, how would you let ourselves talk to us that way?
Yeah, it's so interesting because like when it comes to my son, I am a lioness. Like I will do anything for him or to protect him, and I'm not afraid of anyone or anything. When it comes to my inner child and protecting her, and even though I teach that, right, there's still more work to do.
Yeah, yeah. So there's always work, and like, so the way to it, so number one, but the rational, intelligent side of things, we understand. Like, there's no way I should think like that. That I'm not good with money or whatever. Like someone is saying to themselves, like, of course I can learn. Of course I'm possible to do everything. Of course everything, all the options and opportunities are opened, in front of me. I can do it. And once you know that and you set your mind to it, you just installed a new belief system in your neural networks. So you're just now creating a new neural network. So in our brain, we have our thoughts. Our thoughts are now being processed. Anything that comes through, also our senses, our eyes, the taste, like smell, anything. It comes through, and thoughts that arise come through, and there's like the gatekeepers, or basically like the what gives it meaning, which is our neural networks, which are like neurons that fire and wire, and like and everything is based off of our childhood, kind of the way we grew up, and our caretakers and our inner voice, and that framed our belief system, and therefore throughout over years, from childhood to now, we collected evidence. Okay, those neurons, their job is not, the brain's job is not to think; it's to collect evidence of what we know that is true, and therefore we collected evidence. Just as much as you know how to walk out the door of the room you're sitting in right now, your brain collected evidence of where the door is, where not to hit the sofa or whatever, like, or the chair, or exactly what to do. Your brain collected evidence about your belief system, and now it thinks everything's true. If someone is a Christian, he thinks the best religion. Someone's a Jew, best religion. Someone's a Muslim, best religion, right? Like no other religion, no other God, no other whatever. If someone is like left wing, right wing, anything that they believe they are, they collected evidence for years regarding that. And most of us do it from the age, like from the family we grew up in. And those were instilled in us without us even having a say about it. And we grew up all our lives collecting evidence that is true. We're not good with money. Money is only for the rich, and the rich are, are bad people. Like, money doesn't grow on trees. All those like cliches that we heard from our families, which is just bogus. So now, going back to limiting beliefs, we just now rationally and intelligently installed a new belief system. Now, those neural networks, their job is one job: collect evidence. So once we installed, of course I'm good with money. Of course I can learn. Of course all the opportunities are open in front of me. Now you don't even have to do anything subconsciously, or not even subconscious, just a neural network will try and succeed to collect information that now build more neurons that fire and wire together. And throughout 60 to 70 days, you have a new neural network based on top of that old network that completely ran over it. New program installed.
So what do? You ask questions, you ask better questions, and then you look for different answers instead of uh, why am I not good with money, or how am I amazing with money? How do you do that?
Exactly. So basically, the best way to achieve that is with affirmations. Easy. That's it. And affirmations, we all look at like technology and like, advancement in the, like, we have the best iPhones. Affirmations is a technology by its own, right? And we look at it, it's like, that's the technology in order to get you to install new programs in your mind. And this is like just for limiting beliefs. Now, blockages, again, going back to blockages, that's a complete different issue. It's way harder. Affirmations will not get you to release blockages. Sorry, but no. You have to understand what your blockages are. To do that, you have to go deeper. That's meditations, that's therapy, that's like specific ways of understanding and learning about yourself that is like deeper. But a lot of people will not do that, will not go to the therapists, right? Will not do the work. And I'm saying, like, if take anything out of this show, anybody here listening, is like, seek a good consciousness or emotional therapist. Find one that is like, right, that's really good, and go there and work with her or him on whatever you need, because that's a game changer for your life.
Yeah. One of my mentors, Marisa Peer, she's talking about telling yourself a better lie, because those old beliefs, they are actually lies, because we're infinite potential. Somebody told you something when you were in a very sensitive place. You could have been a child, you could have been 20, you could have been 40. And because we get into trance state many times throughout the day, when we're watching a video, when we're driving from one place to another and we can't remember how we got there. And when we are in that trance state, or maybe on a low, like you can be in a trance state and in a low emotional vibration, somebody says something and all of a sudden, boom, a new negative belief just form. And then you start building your identity from this belief, and you're telling yourself those lies. So why don't we tell ourselves a new lie, like, I am great, I am amazing, I'm great with money. And then your mind is like a puppy. Its job is to do what you tell it. If you tell it for years that you're not capable, and then one day you feel capable, your mind will be like, hey, wait a second, we know that we cannot do that, so hold your horses, let's go back. And then if you put in this new affirmation over and over and over and over again, even though it sounds like a lie in the beginning, it will affect you. Because I had a time where I was in an abusive relationship, and I was broken, and I had zero self-esteem and lots of blame, shame, guilt, really a shadow of myself. And I did Louise Hay mirror work, and I went to the mirror and I tried to say I love you, and my reflection started crying. But I never gave up. I did it every day. So in the beginning it was, I love you, and I'm crying. I love you, and I'm tearing up. I love you, and I can hold my face still. I love you, and I can just smile a little bit. And slowly but surely I started to have this lie be more of my identity. And yes, it took a long time. And I feel like when it comes to self-love and appreciation and that hurt inner child, it is a work of a lifetime. But if you do a little bit every day, a little bit every day, at the end of a year, you'll be a completely different person. Even though it seems like nothing is moving, nothing is changing, just be patient with it and keep going for it. And you have an app for that, right?
Yeah, I do. I actually have an app for affirmations. It's on the App Store. It's called Affirmations and Co. So affirmations and like the ampersand, co. So affirmations and co. You can search for it in the App Store. There's a lot of affirmations apps out there, but this one is, I think, one that, like, I created that because, number one, I thought it should be more inspirational. More affirmations app are just like regular text, but we created this like with nice images in the backgrounds, and also there's the widgets, and there's the notifications that you get, to push notification from yourself during the day with the affirmation. And it's completely free at the moment. And yeah, and I'm also looking for a development partner on that, if anybody here is a developer. So looking for development partners to keep pushing new features, because right now we put it kind of like on hold with new features. But yeah, it's just an app. I use it for myself.
Yeah, how do you use it every day?
Yeah, I have a widget on my phone. I have a affirmations widget on my phone, and I just actually installed the App Store version. It takes about 24 hours. I don't know why for the widget to show up, but I probably see it over here on my phone, like a widget, and it just sits there and it changes affirmations every couple of minutes. Meaning, you open your phone, you swipe up, you see an affirmation. Next time you swipe up, different affirmation. It's amazing.
That's amazing. So you went from working, like believing that only hard work can satisfy your need for getting wealth, and you worked really hard, and it was super frustrating. What do you do now differently, and how did it impact your life, your family, and who you are?
Yeah, look, I mean, I definitely
You're still a hard worker, but you probably do it in a more balanced way.
well, look, this goes into something we talked about before the recording, but basically it's called like 75 hard and what I learned from it. So maybe we should talk for a second about habits and skills, okay?
Let's go.
And before habits and skills, let's talk about leverage, okay? How many of your audience are like business owners or people like that have demanding jobs?
I think at least 45%.
Okay. So this goes for mostly business owners, but also I think for any professional working at any field, any place of work, any place in life. Okay. Like prioritization, we know is key, right? And when we're looking at prioritization, we ask ourselves, what do we prioritize? We have so many tasks going on. We have so many things to do. How do we prioritize? And the answer is one word. It's leverage. Meaning, what is the the minimum I can do to get the maximum impact? And if we're comparing it to a lot of people work very hard, like they work really hard. And if I imagine like, let's say a scale, right? It's not really a scale. Let's imagine a log, like a kind of like a wooden kind of plate sitting on a round log. Okay. Now, the plate is moving, right? And now let's say I have forces pushing the plate kind of like not to the ground, against the ground. Now, would I now where would be easier for me to push that wooden plate to the ground? Would it be closer to the log in the middle, right? Pushing it closer to the log, or would it be at the edge of that plate?
Yeah, the edge.
The edge, right? So if you push it from the edge, obviously you'll have a way better chance of getting it to the ground with less effort, right? So way less effort. So, and if you push it next to the log in the center, you'll have a really hard time. It'll be really hard to get it up to down to the ground. That's leverage. You can act like every one of us has that like wooden plate full of tasks. What tasks are at the edge of the plate? Some of them might have so much leverage that it will put all the rest of them like dominoes. And some of them would just make everything much easier. And some things, it's not even in the physical world, but maybe even mentally would make all the rest of the tasks easier for you. Something sitting like, so what's the leverage in everything you're doing, right? And when you're thinking about leverage, you're thinking about operating leverage, and we can talk about finances, and leverage comes, in the forms of like investments, and like there's so many ways to talk about leverage. But how do we become ones to create and to take actions that have leverage? Well, you need to be ones that not only adapt, but become strong in an ever-changing, dynamic, chaotic environment, which is called the world. Okay. And if you ever want to be someone who can operate in a very effective way, acting with leverage in a dynamic, chaotic world, you need to be a person that can basically have the ways to adapt dynamically, right? How do you adapt dynamically to to different situations, and like in chaos, in uncertainty? Like, how do you operate? So the answer to that basically is you need to be able to adopt new habits and skills at any given time. Does it make sense so far?
Yes.
It's like it's some call it mental toughness, some call it mental flexibility, different
Resilience, yes.
resilience, but it's not only resilience, it's also the flexibility, right? Let's call it
Mm.
flexibility and resilience. And it's the resilience is like also in terms of like because of the chaos, it's like not knowing how to take a punch, or like how to operate and not lose your mind over something that is a setback, and still keep your habits, still keep your skills. And we just said like even new thoughts are a habit, right? You need to, and the thing that we just talked about is how to take a limiting belief out and judge it and put it on trial and create a new one, or tell yourself a new lie. That's a skill.
There's a skill, and not only that, when you create a new affirmation, a new belief system, you create a new neural connection, and but it's a weak one. So you need to repeat it again, 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 in order to strengthen it. You can't just say something once and forget about it.
Exactly. So basically, what did we do now? We got the new skill. Now we need to build a habit, right? And so we know, and everybody listening to the podcast is already that's preaching to the choir, because everybody listening to podcasts are people that are learning, constant learners, and want to build habits and skills. But let's say now, okay, you got the new skill. Now you need to implement the habits. So can we say that if we become people that can build habits and skills to acquire new skills and habits, we can become invincible and operate in a chaotic environment? Pretty much so, right? It makes us way better humans. And then we would also understand how to build the skills and habits that will help us to even identify points of leverage. Because, right, and the leverage goes bigger once we adopt new skills that would take us toward.
How do you identify those points of leverage? Because sometimes when you're in the picture, you can see the leverage. Sometimes you have to step out or have somebody from the outside looking in to tell you, hey, there's leverage here, there's leverage there. How do you yourself get out of that, out of your own way?
Great question. And I think again, it's again something that I'm even learning. Everybody's is at work learning how to. Everybody, if we were all like masters at finding leverage, we would be millionaires. Everybody here now, no problem. Like in terms of, I would say number one, understanding what's leverage for you. That's the most important thing. And knowing what leverage is. Just knowing alone now would make you ask new questions. If what am I going to do now? This like decision here, is it like a decision that will operate leverage, or is it just is it a mundane task, or is it a task of leverage? Is it like an act of leverage, or is it just a mundane act? And I think that it also connects to everything we talked about until now, habits and skills. Because habits and skills will develop you as a human. And the more you develop as a human, you'll be better at finding the things that are right for you. You'd connect to yourself. And when you connect to yourself, you know what habits and skills, what leverage points you need to operate on. Because I think it's not only about money or stuff like that. It's obviously about happiness. Like we all want to be just happy. And if we want to be happy, then we want to know what will make us happy, but also, on all fronts of life. And for each one, it's different. Some people, like, for instance, want to be amazing family men and women. Some people don't want to even have children. Some people want to be, multi millionaires and, or whatever. And some people just, they're not driven by money at all, and they even live in a place where they don't need so much money to live off of. Everybody's driven like in different ways. So once you have a vision for your life that would really help you, and you have a vision, and you can think about, okay, where do I see myself in like 10 years from now? And you can make decisions that are leveraged based off of that, what's called like the North Star. So maybe that's one point. Have a North Star that will help you make decisions that would push you closer to your North Star. Some people are just letting life kind of like, is this decision important for me? I don't know. I don't know where I don't want to go. So how do I know if like, this would be a good idea or not? Well, let's just try. So you try something and it has no leverage. It doesn't take you to where you want to be. But if you know where you want to be, then now you know, okay, this decision here has a very good chance of taking me where I want to be. I think that's leverage. Uh, and and the more you identify that, the more you can make the right decisions. So North Star and aligning with yourself. But aligning with yourself, that's not easy, because you need to have confidence. And you need to, again, and how do you have confidence? Again, it goes back to habits and skills, because people with no habits, or let's say there's nothing like no habits. There's only either good habits or bad habits. People that have no habits actually have bad habits, right? If you're eating poorly, then that's a bad habit. Like, it's not that you don't have a good habit of eating healthy. You're eating poorly. That's a bad habit to eat poorly. So, do you wake up like at a normal hour, or do you wake up like, are you a bum? Do you wake up at like 1 p.m.? Or maybe you work late. Okay, but people that don't work late and wake up at like 1 p.m. are, not functioning well in the world as much, right? So what I'm trying to say is, is like, you can have bad habits or good habits, and once you have good habits, and the skills to understand what habits you even need, then you are confident. Okay, so how do you build confidence?
By doing things that, yeah.
By doing. But most of us are like, oh, we want to start running, we want to start like doing this or that, and we never do
Yeah.
it, right?
You gotta have 10,000 hours to actually be masterful at something.
And nobody wants to put in the work to do 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah. But they want to be confident in it, and they want to be really good at it.
I think also, like, confident people make better decisions, right? Confident people, or even not, I wouldn't say better decisions, but they're decisive. And being decisive is like way better than being like indecisive. Yeah. So, okay. So now let's think about what confidence is, because confidence, to know that I'm confident that I can be building skills and habits that create habits and skills, right? I'm the kind of person, right, that can build any skills and habits at any given time that will help me build habits and skills for whatever is coming in a chaotic world. Because I don't know what skills and habits I will need tomorrow with AI taking over the world. I don't know. All right. But I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think AI will really take over, but
No, we are definitely on the verge of something huge. I know that even Amazon said that they're gonna. I read it somewhere. They're going to replace 600,000 employees with robots. So, yeah, they're. I don't know, but there is a shift coming. That's for sure.
there is a shift. We're in the midst of it. We're definitely in it. But it's not only AI, it's wars, it's like everything that's going on, right? Dynamic life, COVID, wars, AI, spaceships, aliens, whatever is coming. We need to, yeah, we need to understand, like, okay, so what are the skills and the habits that I would know tomorrow to create for, and I would have confidence that I can create.
Because I love what you're saying, because even there, if there is a storm coming, you can always find the eye of a storm. And even when there is a recession, there are always the people who make a lot of money during recession. So when you have those habits and skills and you prepare yourself, you become resourceful and you find your way. But if you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna let the storm carry me and be sad about it, it's not going to help you. So tell me, you did 75 hard challenge. What is that?
Right. So we talked about technologies, right? So I'm applying a technology in order to install the program of habits and skills. Okay, that's what it is. 75 Hard is a challenge created by an entrepreneur called Andy Frisella. I have no affiliation. Like, no, it's not even a money thing. It's a free challenge. Anybody can do it or not do it. Okay. But he created this thing for himself, and then he shared it. He has like a very big podcast. He built a 9-figure company. So he's like a very, like, successful entrepreneur, completely bootstrap, built it like, brick by brick. So he has a lot of credit for that. And mental toughness was his thing, but I like to call it like mental resilience, and because I think it's kind of like a better word. I don't like the word toughness. It has too much macho in it. Um, but I'm looking at it as like, let's say, a mental resilience and a confidence challenge. What does it do? It says for 75 days, okay, once you decide that you're beginning, you're now in a 75-day streak where you cannot stop in the middle, or you go back to day one, where you cannot fail in what you have to do in those 75 days, or you go back to day one. And every day you have to do the same things. What are those five things? Same things. One is you have to do 2 45-minute workouts every day. And those 45-minute workouts have to be separated. They cannot be consecutive. So you have 2 45-minute workouts not connected to each other. And then one has to be outside no matter the weather. Okay, and that's number one. It can be walking, it could be yoga, it could be all kind of things. It doesn't have to be like strength training or running or something like, you'd kill yourself. But you have to understand what are your goals, and do it properly.
Yeah, like even just like a strength training and a stretching session will be amazing, or strength training and cardio.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so number 2 is you have to drink a gallon of water. Okay, it's a lot of water to drink, but especially if you're training, it's good. And then you have to read 10 pages of some kind of book that would teach you something new, some kind of personal development or something new to learn. So it could not be fiction. It's not a fiction book. It's a something like nonfiction book. 4, you need to pick a diet and stick to it. No cheat meals and no cheat days. And number 5, by the way, no alcohol as well. Number 5, take a selfie. Every day you take a progress pic. Very small task, but still something to do. So those 5 things, you have to do them for 75 consecutive days. If you fail to do one of them in any of the days, you go back to day one. That's the entire challenge.
So 2 45-minute workouts, one need to be outdoors, stick to one diet, no cheat meals, read 10 pages of an inspirational book or something that will move you forward. What was the other one? I forgot the other two. What were the other two?
Drink water
Oh, drink a gallon of water.
and selfie.
Oh, the selfie. Yes. I have a hard time drinking a lot of water. I know it's good for me.
Yeah, a lot of us are, right? I mean, when I started this, like first time I did it, you run to the bathroom every I wouldn't be even able to have this entire podcast episode with running to the restroom.
Because your body's not used to it. Your body's like, what's going on now? This is way too much. Is it healthy to drink a gallon of water every day?
Obviously, for some people, like it's usually by a lot of different metrics of how much water is optimal for you. But I can say, like, so many people have done this challenge and are okay with like just 1 gallon of water. I checked with my doctor. For me, I'm okay. Like, everybody should check with their own doctor, obviously. But if not, fine, don't drink 2 liters or whatever your doctor says, right? But don't try to cheat. That's the whole thing about this challenge. Not trying to make it for your sake. Making it 75 soft. It's called 75 hard. You have to do 5 things, and you have to do them for 75 days. And if you fail in one of them, if you read 9 pages instead of 10, if you do a 44-minute workout, you forgot that last minute. If you no matter what, you have to do all 5 things every single day.
It sounds like basic training for the entrepreneur, like boot camp for entrepreneurs or people in general.
For people in general, right? It's kind of like it's like anything hard, that you do. It's kind of like a marathon or anything you train for or that you do. And the thing is, you can start today, and everybody can start with this thing today. It's like, yeah, okay, you're strained for a bit for the first couple of days because you're not used to working 2 45-minute workouts. But still, I mean, you can do 2 walks a day or 45 minutes. You don't have to you don't have to run for 45 minutes. You can walk. You can do yoga or stretching for 45 minutes. So definitely possible for anybody to start at any given time. You don't have to prepare for it. You just go for it. And the thing that I recommend, if anyone wants to try, is to also maybe chat with. And by the way, I wouldn't want anybody to stop for themselves from starting by what I'm saying, but you can do it while you're doing it. So pick a diet, pick something like, for instance, like for me, like no gluten and no milk, no dairy products. Fine, that would be 75 hard. Just eat normal, just lose all the gluten and dairy products, fine. But anything you know is good for you, that you always say, wow, I need to do this, but you never done it, that's your diet, probably. Now, I would even help, I would even, like what I've done in the first time around, in the middle of the challenge, I said, why am I not stepping up my game? I went to a nutritionist and I got myself a personal trainer at the gym. By the way, I started going to the gym. I never was at the gym before 75 hard. So, I'm finding myself doing 2 workouts a day. I'm like, why am I not doing strength training? I know it's good for you. So I went and found a personal trainer who's with me until this day. And I've done it it was like 6 years ago when I started.
Yeah, strength training is the bomb. It's amazing.
It's important, right? And I think so that challenge alone, number one, it gets you to physical, obviously, places that you've never been before, but it also gets you to a mental place that you've never been before. When you finish this challenge and you've gone 75 days of doing things like being out on walks when nobody's out on walks, of understanding at midnight when you had a very busy day at work that you forgot one exercise or forgot to read a book, and you get out of your bed and you go out and put your shoes on and go for a walk or do yoga or whatever, and maybe even if you fail. I mean, I failed on my second time around. I failed at day 66. And yes. And my wife was doing it with me, and she finished, and we already had a hotel booked, and we decided that we're going to have a hotel and we're going to drink and we're going to eat well, and eat like, sorry, not well, eat like very and like eat cakes and stuff. And so I knew that we had a hotel booked in 18 days. So I could have stopped and said, I'll take a break for like 18 days and then go back to it or whatever, but I didn't. I went back to day one. That's the program. Went back to day one, failed again 18 days later with my wife in a hotel. That was intentional. And went back to day one again and done it again 75 days. And that's 75 hard. When you are the one that you carried out and you say, you become the person that says, I'm going to do this, and then you're going to do this. We have such a problem of saying that. We always say, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to start habits and skills. We never get those habits in, and we never build the skills to create those habits and skills. So this is the program, the technology, to give you the skill and the confidence that you can build any habits and skills. It's not that the 2 workouts a day should stick with you after 75 hard. That's not the point. You're not going to keep 75 harding your whole life. That's like a marathon or something, right? You do it once, and then you can do it again every once in a while. Right now, I started last week. I'm doing it for the 4th time now, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm working out twice a day. I still have 1 walk to do. I had a book to read. I have a lot of water to drink still, but I feel great. And when you drink a lot of water, and I can say that every time I came back to the challenge, I came back for a different reason, and I gained a different insight at the end that almost every time stuck with me. And that's one of the most important things that I think anybody can do with their life right now. Do this kind of challenge. I don't know any other challenge like it. And there's a hashtag, and there's communities. By the way, we have a WhatsApp community. But when I did it, I posted on LinkedIn, and a lot of people joined, and we had people from the last round that joined us. So we have people that are doing it with us. But yeah, I really recommend join a community of people doing it. There's also the hashtags on Instagram and Twitter and stuff of you see other people doing it. It's for women and men at any stage of life. So yeah.
That sounds very intriguing. I might join the community myself. When I'm back from my travels, I think it's going to be too hard to travel and do all that. Um, so the last year in Israel was quite tough with the war and the all the politics. It was very stressful for everyone, I think. How do you think you handled it with the tools that you have?
Everybody had it different, right? I didn't have my house hit by an Iranian missile, which is so. Number one, I practice a lot of gratitude, ton of gratitude. I think, and And a gratitude is another thing. Like, number two, I doubled down on on what I know helps. Um, Meditations, workouts. It's funny. I've been like in a meditation session, like in the middle of the war. There's like missile, and then after that we had the session. We had to go into meditation just after a siren. It was like you're still kind of shocked by like missiles that fell in from Iran. Like, and
Yeah, I feel like with all the work I've done so much throughout my life. Every time I hear a siren, it's kind of like hijacked my nervous system. It goes into fight and or flight mode, especially with little kids. Like you gotta get them to shelter. It's not when it was just me. I'd be like, oh, it's okay. I'm just me. I can handle it. But since I became a mom, there is this extra layer of like I have to protect my own. I have to protect my kids. So it's a little different.
it is. And then again, here you are, right? You have to be there for your children, meaning you have to.
Not only that, like my elderly mom who can hardly walk when there's a siren. There's so many layers.
When we work on ourselves, we become the rock of everybody around us. And the people that are weak around us, the grown-ups that are weak, that have not worked on themselves, become a bad anchor that weighs everybody down and creates trauma for years and years. Think about that. If we become the rock, resilient, know how to handle stress situations with focus, and know how to keep our sanity, talk properly with our children, and we invest in every word. We think about the wording that comes out of our mouth when we talk to them and explain a situation. Our children have a far better chance of not carrying this trauma, and going forward in their lives, if they ever have to experience such a trauma, to not be in post-traumatic stress disorder like a lot of other people.
Yeah. But what if you are resilient, but the people around you are very fearful? I was with family that they were very fearful, and I was calming everybody down, but it rubs on you. It's like those neural connections, like you're in the same room with them, your mind starts creating the same patterns whether you want it or not. So walk me through that.
First of all, it's a very interesting conversation because you and I are Israelis and we suffered the war now, so it's like um, it's it's a conversation not a lot of people in the world get to have. I think most people didn't suffer that much, wars, and everybody might say, what about Gaza? But no, like we had, I don't know, it was like above 100,000 rockets shot at us in the past 2 years.
Something like that, something crazy like that. Yeah, like a building near my mom. Yeah, a building near my mom collapsed to the ground, and a whole street of like shattered windows. Like it's like there was damage, yes.
Yeah, and you walk in just today, even last week we were in Tel Aviv, we walked in Tel Aviv and we saw the hole in the building. You see the hole in the building in the center of Tel Aviv, and it's still it's kind of like, holy, that's a huge hole in the middle of the freaking huge building. And you're like, it's not a kiddie game. It was like real rockets coming in, real booms, and really, really scary. And our kids had to be there in that situation, and we had to be parents in the situation and for our kids. Really intense, really extreme.
Like we heard it, we felt the wall shaking. It was real.
It was real. It was there. So, look, I mean, but again, it comes down to the fact of the consciousness as a whole, of like like around you, right? Like you're in a room with like fearful people. If you were fearful as well, the entire collective of the room would be more fearful, and the people that we really care about, our kids, will grow up with more fear. And if you're the rock that now maybe even balances this fear a bit, maybe just your kids would notice, they would stick onto you, and they would, and you would have way more chances of your kids like getting out of the situation of, like, for instance, I canceled in most of our phones in their homes the alert.
Oh, me too. No, that's crazy. That's like so strong. You can't. It wakes you up like with so much anxiety.
Yeah. So I mean, right. Most people don't cancel it. Like even my wife, like, kind of had an argument with me, like, don't cancel it, don't. It saves lives. I'm like, No, we have one in home. We don't need more. Let's cancel that. Also, like that 15-minute one before. Like if there's a rocket, we'll know about it. We don't need to wake up 15 minutes, stay up all night. That would ruin our sleep, right? Uh, so many bad things just because of the stupid, like, alert that, yeah, maybe some people need, if their shelter is far away and they have to walk for 10 minutes or whatever, they have to wake up, get downstairs, walk to the shelter. We don't. We have a safe room. That's where we're going. That's, 30 seconds away. In 30 seconds, we can be all in the safe room. We don't need 15 minutes, warning before rockets come in. That's just creating more trauma. Again, more of the things that now we look at motorcycles in the street running. We're like, oh shit, siren? No, it's a motorcycle. So all that stuff is like,
Oh, I had time after the war where I would hear an ambulance or a motorcycle and like I had to do like a second take. Wait, is this? Oh no, okay. And my child too. I think even with like being calm, we've all been to some degree traumatized with this whole thing. It's not a normal reality.
yes, but I would say it's not normal reality. I'm not any guru or any like spiritual
You're a prince.
friend, right? I'm just a friend. But I would say creator wants you to be exactly where you are. So the more you understand that, the more you can accept situations. And number two is something more on the clinical side. I heard people talking about PTSD, but I heard just once, somebody talk about something that changed my entire perspective on PTSD, and that's he called it like um, PTG, post-traumatic growth. What if we transfer just the mindset about trauma, instead of like, oh, we have PTSD, and we tell ourselves a different story, again, a different lie. Oh, we're now growing out of the situation. We have post-traumatic growth, right? So it's like, okay, great. And if we look at stress, we know that eventually, biologically, if something doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, right? And that's so true. Like any situation in our lives, anybody here listening to the podcast, if they had a setback in their life, they know that they probably grew stronger after that setback. Like the setbacks, it gets worse before it gets better.
It's interesting about Israel, like even with like this like horrible situation, like people are still living their lives, partying, um, um, creating successful businesses. Sometimes when life is really hard, you start valuing life in a different way. When you see life as something so fragile, you're like, okay, today is what I have. So why don't I spend more time with my family? Why don't I build that business? Why don't I do that thing that I always loved to do? I'll go painting, I'll go dancing, I'll go singing. I'll do the things that I love to do because life is so beautiful and it's so precious. And I love what you said about that, like it feeling grounded. I think the most grounded you can be is when you believe in a higher force, whatever it is for you. For me, it's God. And knowing that you are in the right place at the right time. And you're always guided, protected, and loved. And there is a big plan for you. And yes, I see that we can dance within this plan and we can go places. It's almost like a maze where you like choose your own adventure. But there is also, I feel, the divine plan for us, for our lives. And if we take the right steps and show the right desires, we'll get to a beautiful place and a beautiful state in our life.
Yeah, and I'm 100% agreeing on it. I think there's like limiting beliefs and blockages that are way deeper, right? Then there's also like, post traumas of people that, in this war lost their home or loved ones, right? So many people lost loved ones. That is so harder to grow out of. But I'm also seeing it with, and again, I'm not judging. I don't want to judge. I'm not like, it's not out of a critical, or criticizing anyone. Okay. But I'm just saying, you see some of the hostages that came back, everything that they are now, or how they came out of it, and how they survived it, and now how they, feel their world, that is reflecting out of the way they talk, and in the words they use, you see who is feeling still like a victim, and who is already not a victim, is like blessing the world. You see that but it's not the thing that they experienced when they were there in a traumatic experience. It's actually their belief system before. The more we work on ourselves, once we get to a traumatic situation, I really believe the tools and, again, skills and habits that we acquired will help us deal with the worst in life situations that we can ever imagine. And again, these guys have been in hell. So I don't judge anything, but I'm saying, like, we grow our kids to be optimistic, to have faith, to believe, in a higher purpose, um, in personal development, we teach them gratitude, and we teach them like everything that's right in the world, um, and faith, and they will really be way more prepared to deal with like traumatic situations in the future. And that's the work we're doing in ourselves. Like I didn't have gratitude. I bet you didn't grow up like as well, like with like very, with the perfect kind of family. Nobody grows up with the perfect family, but
Oh no, I grew up. My childhood was was very messy. But yeah, I like what you said about the discipline, because when you build that discipline and that identity of being a disciplined person, you also build the identity of I'm stronger than my mind. I am the observer of my mind, and I can be disciplined with what I do. Therefore, I can be disciplined with my thoughts, because thoughts create actions that creates our reality. So if you develop that physical discipline, which is also mental discipline, then you can discipline your thoughts into I am strong, I can connect to a higher power. And then you gain the strength, especially when it is so difficult outside.
yeah, when it comes to, again, mental resilience and mental toughness in very extreme situations, and yeah, it's important.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful conversation, Sagi. I knew this is going to be amazing. I knew it. Um, so before we say goodbye for now, what are your 3 top tips to living a stellar life, and where can people find you?
Wow. Top 3 tips.
Or at least 3 good ones.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, again, like I would say top 3 tips for me is like, do 75 hard, or anything that is like pushing you out of your comfort zone. For me, it's a game changer. Another tip is meditate and learn meditation. It's the only way to connect to your, and to reprogram your mind, I believe. Or seek therapy. Okay, let's change it to like seek therapy and practice meditations that put it together. And the third one is know that whatever is the creator, the way you see it, he created you with a piece of like you're part of that. Like we're 99% like um energy and 1% matter, because we're made out of atoms at the end of the day. And that energy we rarely tap into. So seek ways to tap into that energy. That's the energy of the creator. That's the energy that will make anything in your world happen. Seek ways, knowledge, and build skills and habits to tap into that energy. That's the only way for you to really excel, I think. Like for me, all my growth has come out of like understanding that. And everything else is like, everything comes with it. Happiness, money, relationships, everything, I think.
Amazing. Sagi, thank you so much. Such a pleasure. I'm so happy that I bet we're going to see each other in person sometime soon. And I just can't wait. Like, this was amazing conversation. Thank you for your wisdom, everything you shared. Where can people find you and learn from you and get more of Sagi?
All right. You want to get more? I want to just offer something like I have this meditation I created. It's called Genesis. We haven't got a chance to talk about it. So, number one, if you want to ask me about 75 Hard, just find me. You can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Just search Sagi Shreiber. And on Instagram, it's Sagi.Shreiber. And on Instagram and on LinkedIn, just search my name, Sagi Shreiber. It's Shrieber. And then you can ask me either for any tips on 75 if you want, but also for the meditation called Genesis. I'll send you a PDF of what it entails and how you can do it. It's a 10-minute meditation. And I'll even send you my way of building a vision, which is also I share with a lot of people. I have like this Google Doc, just, it's the way that a Google Doc with like 3 videos that I recorded, especially free. I have nothing to sell you at the end of it. Again, I have my own businesses, but this is just, for creating a vision, so I can send you that as well.
Amazing. Sagi, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Orion.
Thank you. And thank you, listeners. Remember to push out of your comfort zone, meditate, and seek therapy. Know that you are a part of creation and tap into that energy and have a stellar life. This is Orion. Till next time.